everyone!
Welcome back to day 2 with Andrew Hochradel, and my name is Julia Masalska. Today we're going to be doing some really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Andrew is going to finalize what he was studying yesterday.
Yep.
And showing you how he applied the textures to the design.
Yeah.
And in about 30 minutes, you guys can win some super cool sticker mule stickers with Chat and Win.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. And in about 90 minutes, we're going to review some of your portfolios. So you can submit a link to your portfolio. It's above the chat, so just click on submit link.
I guess it's technically over there. Yeah.
It depends where you're watching from, I guess.
Yeah.
So, just click the link, submit your portfolio, and we'll give you some hopefully valuable tips.
Yeah, hopefully give you some direction to improving it ready. Hello, Jordan. Hello.
Hi, everyone in the chat.
All our friends
Austin,
and Pats.
Lucia, welcome back. I saw you yesterday.
Yep, Nora was here yesterday.
Cool. It's good to see you guys back here. And also, of course, you can participate in the Daily Creative Challenge. If you go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, you can submit your work right here. Just follow along the guidelines. And then today's topic is brand assets. Design eye-catching Instagram stories overlay that has uniform color, style, and format. So, how to make your brand stylish and uniform.
Yeah.
So,
and we're actually going to be doing a ton of that today.
Exactly.
So we are going to be, we'll take a look at the project in a second, but today we're going to be working a lot with textures. We're going to get a lot more hands-on like we did yesterday, get our little camera going.
My favorite.
Show you guys how to make some textures. And then we're also going to be launching this big campaign that I'm working on. But with those brand assets, I'm going to show you how to export those as PNGs so that we can put them on our phone so that if you have a client that's on the go that needs to make something quickly, it's very easy to give them those assets so that they can create things on their own. Always a roll of the dice to see what they'll create, but sometimes it helps to give them limitations and give them what to work with. Say, here are your assets, don't add any more, just use these. So we'll be looking at that today.
Yeah, that sounds super exciting. I'm so looking forward to the launch.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yep. Hello, Mark Jacobs. The Mark Jacobs? I'm sorry, you probably hear that all the time. But hello, nice to see you in here.
Yeah, and also if you guys want to check out Andrew's social media, you can follow him on Instagram at hoch.co. I always say Hoch because it's German.
Yep, German.
Yeah, I was teaching him how to pronounce his German last name right, so.
It's funny, our family has it's adapted and moved. So my parents say Hochradel.
Yeah.
And then I came to Southern California and people started saying Hochradel because they didn't know how to pronounce it. And I was like, I guess I'll roll with it. So Hochradel we go.
All right. So, and then you can, of course, also follow me if you like. It's just another sunny girl on Instagram. And then, of course, make sure to follow Andrew's work on Behance. Check out his projects. And we're looking forward to see some of your projects later on.
Yes.
The portfolio reviews,
yeah, I'm very excited. Cool. So, yes, Julia has amazing work on Behance. Some of her scanner stuff that I've seen is amazing. I love
thank you so much.
Weird, wonky scanner stuff.
I love that too.
Cool. So, let's jump in, I guess, and start looking at some things. So, we're going to do a little bit of recap from yesterday. Just to give us the broad view of what we're working with, and then we're actually going to jump in and we are going to launch this big campaign.
Yay.
We're going to do it right at the beginning, and then after that we can hang out, and I'll show you guys some texturing, and it'll be like the feel of that Christmas party you go to, where everyone gets there, and then you're just let's hang out.
Yay!
So let's take a look. So what we're doing, this should be a proper intro. Let's do the same intro from yesterday. All right, we're going to get a spin into it, and camera 2. Hey, America. Hello, design community. So, in 2020, I, Andrew Hochradel, are launching, Andrew Hochradel, am launching a campaign to be elected as America's MC for the design community. I'm looking to host every design conference in the United States in the year 2020. And so we are launching that campaign today, and specifically right now. It's something that is community focused and that you can be a part of. And hopefully I can help you find your community through this, and then I will see you in those communities. So let's take a look at our creative brief just to go back over. And yes, Rachel, we will have the lab coats back, but not until we get to the texture lab.
It's gonna get spicy again today.
It's gonna get spicy, yes. So let's take a look at the creative brief. With this brief, we wanted it to obviously be very kind of political looking. I wanted it to be a farce and exaggeration of kind of the political looks. And so we're doing the red, white, and blue, a little bit of gray in there, playing with a lot of stars and stripes, some stuff like this, incorporating my logo in there, and some branding here that kind of works within my branding system. I wanted to play a little bit with like the voter little boxes, right?
Boxes.
You work with, yeah. And so when I'm working and building a brand, I really look at what are the things that people relate it to. Like what's the thing that comes in their brain first? And those are the elements that I try to incorporate and remix a little bit. So we have our type hierarchies here. Down here, a little bit of visual inspiration. We looked at these designers yesterday. They're all great people to follow on Instagram. Absolutely incredible designers. Very, very inspiring. Another one that I didn't put on here is, let's make this way bigger. Is a friend, Emily Poulin. Emily Poulin is an incredible designer, amazing letterer, does great branding work. So if you're looking to follow someone new, Emily is the person. Go follow her. She's incredible. We worked together for a little while, and she's one of my faves. Down here, we had pulled some key messaging, and we had pulled some endorsements that we'll be working with today from some past conferences I've been at and some friends. So we'll be working with those today to create some social assets that you are working on similarly in your creative challenge.
Yeah.
So we're going to tie that in a little bit.
Awesome.
And then over here, these are the different texture techniques that we were working on. So we still need to cover a few today. We're going to do spray painted, which is like a stencil style. We're going to show you how to do embroidered, which I feel like is the one that most people are like, this is so hard and it takes forever.
But
we're
it's
literally
actually
gonna
not,
do it.
right?
Yeah, no, we're going to do it in like 6 minutes, and it's going to blow your mind, hopefully. It's one of those things that is not the most refined, but it's good enough to show a client. So we'll also look at markered, and we're going to be doing the markered technique a ton today because we're actually going to be using that in our campaign. So are you all ready to take a look and launch this campaign?
Yes, we're ready.
We're ready. Yes, speaking on behalf of chat. So let's hop into it. If you want to follow along and you want to check out the site and get involved, right now you can go to hoch.host, hoch.host. If that's not working for you, you can also go to hoch.co/MC. And yes, embroidered is spelled wrong. It's one of those words like restaurant that I just like literally embroidered. And with an I.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that. And one of those. There we go. All right.
Embroidered.
Embroidered. We are going to do an embroidered texture. Cool. So you can hop on, check it out. Go to hoch.host or hoch.co/MC. And we will be rebuilding out this campaign to show you a lot of these textures and a lot of these elements of how to do them, and also how you can be involved in the Hoch 2020 campaign to get you into community and to help me host every design conference in the United States.
Wow, this is so exciting.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and I know that you're like looking at this and you're thinking like, Andrew, this is kind of a lot, and that's super on brand for me. I'm kind of a lot. So let's hop in. So on this site, you can find a lot of key messaging. You can also track along with me on whatever social media you want. Any platform, Twitch, Behance, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want, you can stalk me. That's fine. I don't mind. So we're going to show you how to do some of these effects here, working with gradient maps, working with overlays, working with multiplies. Yesterday we were doing additive and subtractive texture. So we will be doing both of those today. Yes, Francisco, these pictures are amazing, and they are done by Alex Casillas, Casillas. He's an incredible photographer. Please follow him on social media. One of my favorites, totally amazing. And then it'll come up here in a second.
I also need to do a photo shoot like that.
Yes.
I would love
please.
pictures like that.
Yes. This is my favorite quote from my mom. Please calm down. I need you to use your inside voice. That's my official endorsement from my sweet mother. But here you can check out the Hoods Weighed In. We've done a couple conferences together. And their book, Freelance and Business and Stuff, we looked at it yesterday. Absolutely incredible. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's a great resource for freelancers. Yes, we will be reviewing works on Behance a little bit later at the end of the stream. So looking down here, you can follow along with this election and this campaign with what conferences are happening, where I'll be, where you can meet up with me and find your community, and more. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, Val. Yes, that is his website. So as you scroll through here, I wanted this both to be something that you could contact your organizer to see if you can get me to your conference, but also a resource for you to get information about conferences. So as you scroll, you can join me on the campaign trail. If you have an event and if you have a conference, you can click this button right here to submit your event. It will automatically generate an email to me. We can get in contact and I can join you in a part of your community and hopefully bring a little bit of energy and fun.
Yeah.
And everyone who will be attending conferences, if you're looking for a conference to find, especially if you're a student, conferences are one of the best things that's happened to me in my creative career. Finding your creative community is so important. There's a designer, Ben Stafford, and he talks a lot about community. I've learned a lot about community from him, but I wanted to create a resource for you to find conferences and find places to go. So with all of these, you can click on these links, and as you click on them, they will send you out to these conference websites. So you can get information, you can buy tickets, you can find a little bit of everything. They're organized by date, so if you're looking to go to a specific place at a specific time, you can find all those dates. This is my Creative South crew, and this jacket was one of my favorite things of all time. A mermaid sequin. This is Creative South, one of my favorite conferences. This year we're doing a family reunion. It's our 10th year, so we're celebrating. So yes, you don't have to be, so Aurelia. Even if you're too shy to go to conferences, maybe watch online and get involved with the chat or find the community online.
I felt like the first times I went to conferences or events, I felt a little bit shy to really connect with people and do the small talk, do this networking. So the first times I went, I was just walking around and watching people interacting, and I was learning by watching them. So sometimes it's just good to go and just to see how the whole system works.
Yeah, and it's fun, and especially Creative South is based in community. We don't call it a conference, we call it a community. And Creative South is somewhere that you can come, and even if you're shy, you can do what you want. You can do as little as you want. You can come in.
Just hang out.
Yeah, hang out, come grab coffee, have a cookie, and go get some ice cream with some people. So with these, again, you can find a conference that's right for you. All of these dates are here, and they are an option for you to attend. But this is where you come in. There are a few of these conferences that I am trying to book that I'm really pushing toward, that I need your support and a little bit of your input. And so what you can do is, if you are wanting me at one of these conferences you're going to, you can click this button here to contact your organizer. And to contact your organizer, what it's gonna do is, let's go ahead and log in. Boop. What you can do is click this button and it will generate the tweet for you. So for each of these conferences, I have generated tweets for you. So all you have to do is click that link, hit tweet, and it will send to that conference for them hopefully to contact to get me at their conference and into their community. So any of these you can click on. A few of these are coming up soon. So if you want to get involved, if you want to shoot out a tweet, if you want to help me in this campaign, you can do that here. And if you're a conference organizer, boom, you can book your event right here. It will email me and get me out to your event.
I can just asking about my workflow, so you can check it out on YouTube. There's replays of, for example, the wine branding project. I think you can just take a look if you want to see, my workflow.
Yep. Yeah, and Noor, some conferences are very expensive. Some conferences are super affordable. Even Creative South, we try to make it very affordable. I think tickets are under $500. So very affordable. Yep, yeah, $447. So under $500. Super affordable. And
I think it's really cool to have all the information about all the events in one page. I always had trouble, finding all the different conferences, and then everybody's posting it on Eventbrite.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult to find.
Yeah, I did a lot of research to find as many conferences as I could because I couldn't find a place that they were all together.
Yeah.
I wanted to take all these creative communities and try to pull them together. So yeah. And I will be adding this, more conferences to this, updates to this as we go through the year. So if you're looking for something, keep checking back. I will keep updating it with all the information.
Yay, and we have a chat and win in 13 minutes.
13 minutes. So let's hop back in to some of our texturing. Today we're going to be covering the rest of the texturing that we didn't do last year. And so these are some of the different types. Let's take a look at the embroidered type. I think that we can do it in 13 minutes before chat and win. So let's check that out.
Boop.
Yes, you're gonna get a lot of sound effects today. If you weren't here yesterday, you're gonna get a lot of sound effects. That's just how it works. So yesterday we covered that we were working with gradient maps. Again, this is an incredible photo by Alex Casillas. He's an awesome photographer. And something I didn't notice in this photo, actually, if we zoom in right here, this jacket has a giant stain on it. And so as I was working with this, I was like, man, these are good photos. Like, let's keep it super clean. And then I was like, oh no, the stain. And so the best way to hide that, just toss the gradient map over it and it's disappeared. And so we looked at these gradient maps a little bit yesterday. We're just mapping 3 colors here. So our darkest color, the blue, a mid-range, which would be our grays to that red, and then the highlight with the white. So you can do that on any photos, and it gives it a nice little texture.
Yeah, Jordan is saying we don't mind the sound effects.
Yes.
I know, everybody loves sound effects, right?
Yes, sound effects are
the weirder the better.
Cool, so let's go into Illustrator, and let's grab one of these little badges that we made yesterday. Let's actually use
I love the
one.
triangle ones.
I do too. I feel like
so cool.
Yeah, you see a lot of like circle badges and a lot of just like blocks, and I love playing with like the circle or the triangles because it just, I don't know, it has a little
people
extra
don't
flair
really
to it.
don't really use the triangle to make badges like that, right?
Yep.
I've rarely seen it.
Yeah, I really want to see like enamel pins of this kind of style in the triangle. I haven't seen like a cutout triangle. So what we're doing here is I'm just grabbing the white and I'm gonna grab my Pathfinder. And I'll do this a lot when building badges, is just to punch things out. There you are. I'll go in, I'll grab all the white, I will make it a shape by uniting it, and then I'll use the magic wand again to grab all the black, unite it, and then we're gonna make each of these a compound path by hitting Command 8. Command 8 and Command 8. Oh, actually we need to select both of those. Ooh. That's not what I wanted. Let's see what's happening here.
So you want to cut out the white of the black?
Yes.
I would do this second one.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Make sure to group the white and then.
There we go.
Yeah.
That worked. Cool. So let's grab this, and I'm actually gonna make it a. Let's do our brand red. I keep just grabbing a random red, but we have designated brand colors.
Yeah, and you save them in your library, right?
And I save them in my library, which is great because it syncs between Illustrator and Photoshop.
And InDesign. And all the other apps.
Yes, sorry, and all the other ones.
Yeah.
So we have this here. It's vibrating a bit on the blue, but we're gonna roll with it. So to do embroidery, right? We have 10 minutes and you're like, oh, how do we do embroidery? I need to go like, pick out a template and find some special thing. Alas, you do not. All we're gonna do is we're gonna make a layer on top of this. We're gonna fill that layer with black so that it's just a completely black layer. And we are going to go up here to filter and noise. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Sometimes things that are better are worse. So to make it authentic and real, we have to make it a little bit messed up and a little bit diverse. So actually what we're gonna do is we talked about this yesterday a little bit, is we're gonna go in here and we're gonna roughen this. This is just gonna give us a little bit of an edge. This is the edge, the symbol for edge, yes. Is a symbol for edge. And we are going to affect, distort, roughen. This is like the biggest kept secret in Illustrator, and it's the greatest thing. I feel like I don't see it very often. But we're gonna take this size down to 0.4. That's just showing us how much it's going to be wiggling. So if you can see, yeah, right? It's got a little wiggle.
Wiggly.
Yes.
Whoa.
So yeah, if you see, you can take it up really high. You can do some super weird stuff with this if you take it up super high. But usually I want it somewhere around 0.4, 0.3.
You can probably do some really cool distorted type.
Yes, yeah, you can do some really weird stuff. And then this detail is basically how many wiggles and woobles it has per inch. So if we take this way up, you can see that it's got a very fine texture on here.
More wiggles.
Yeah, exactly. So if you take it down, you'll see that it's much less wobbly. So we're gonna take this, we actually want it to be like weirdly wobbly. And then here, instead of smooth or corner, we want this at smooth. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna create, it's gonna make it a little more blobby. And for the letters here, I actually am gonna keep it on corner. I like corner a little bit better for this one. And corner will actually be better when we do our embroidery effect. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Teddy, if you're watching. Teddy's Shauna's dog, and he's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Hi, Valdir, welcome back. Janina, welcome back.
Cool, so we're gonna grab this, and again, right now it's just an effect on there, so we are going to expand appearance. And now we have all these little wiggly wobbles, which is exactly what we want for the embroidery effect.
I'm so excited for this.
It's so fun. So let's take this into Photoshop. We are gonna paste here. All right, and what we're gonna do is we are going to put this under our black layer. We are going to come to our black layer, and we are going to do filter, noise, add noise. Adding this noise is going to make it noisy. Loved it. Yeah, perfect. So we want it to be a good amount of noise. So if we take it down here, we're really just looking for the contrast here. We talked about it yesterday. We're looking for black and white values.
Yeah.
And so paying attention to just the values, we want it fairly contrasty. So we're going to bring it up high. We want it uniform, and we want it monochromatic. So as we look at textures in the real world, I'm always trying to figure out what does that look like? What are the essence of that?
What are the layers for this?
Yeah, what are the layers for this? And I thought about embroidery, right? It's a bunch of threads that are usually moving in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, if something's moving in a direction, we can do this. Filter, blur, and we're gonna give it that motion so that it is filtering in those directions.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so we set this at a 45 degree, or if you want your embroidery to be straight up and down, you can set it at a 90. I like to set it around a 45. And the less blur that you have, it's basically the shorter the line strokes would be. If you take it way up, it blurs out too much. So you need to find that middle ground to where it has just enough designation so that it looks like it's embroidered. So we're gonna go ahead and hit OK on this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this mode to color burn. Actually, let's play around and see if there's something better in here. Yeah, let's use color burn. Sure. So let's use color burn, and we are going to attach it to just the layer underneath it. So option, click. There we go. So we've got a little bit of this going on. This red is actually too hot for me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here and we're gonna add some more layer styles. We want to make it white, so let's go into blending options. And yes, I saw some people in chat earlier freaking out about like, they're vibrating, and they are, so we're gonna fix it. So we're gonna do a color overlay. And what's gonna happen is if we put this at full white, it's actually gonna ruin it. Actually, let me...
Hi, Kathleen. Good to
Hi,
have
Sean.
you in chat.
Sean was one of my interns back in the day. We're gonna hop back in here, and I'm actually going to work with this smart object, if I can find it. There we go. We're gonna make it not red. We are just going to make it white. And what's nice is we're working with a smart object, so we can keep changing it and moving it. So we're going back in here. And what's happening here, right, is this layer above that has our threads on it is that it's color burning to white. If you color burn to white, it turns white. There's nothing for it to burn.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so what we have to do, and this is a little cheat, if you're adding things on top of white, always make it so that it is gray. So the gray will basically lift. So if we're talking about values, putting something on top of it is lifting those values. So if we make it gray, it is going to pull through and lift the values of the gray to incorporate what's going on above it. Yep. So now we have this great, hello, hi from Moscow. We have this nice little gray that's coming through. It's a little dark, but we can fix that. And it's looking a little bit embroidered, but not quite what we want. So we're gonna go into this layer underneath, open our blending options, and start adding some blending options here. We're gonna do a bevel emboss because that's gonna give us a little bit of
more
that texture. Yep. We want it to be inner beveled. We're gonna turn that depth up a little bit, and we're gonna start pulling the size just a tiny bit. There we go. So now you can see you're getting a little bit of that edge. We're gonna soften it so that we have a little more of that edge. We are also going to add an inner glow, and we're just going to make that black to give it a little bit of that warp that you would see on the actual print if you printed that. We're going to take
And we
this.
have only 3.5 minutes until the chat and win.
3.5 minutes, that's not very long. We're gonna take this
No
opacity
pressure,
down.
Andrew, no
yeah,
pressure.
no pressure. So now you can see we're getting a little bit more of that edge, which is nice. And then we're actually gonna add some more texture on top of it. So we're just gonna hit texture here. And the depth feels okay, the scale feels okay. So you can see it's adding just a little bit of texture there, which is giving us a nice extra element. So now you see it looks like it's a little embroidered, and I'll go in here now and again just add a gradient map on top of it. Gradient maps are great for changing values, and so now with this gradient map we can make it whatever color we want. We can lighten it, we can darken it, and I'm going to go in and change another one with the levels, and that is going to help us with the bright. Actually, let's do brightness and contrast. There it is. So brightness and contrast will help us make this look a little more authentic.
Hi Ripam, hi Tamjid, hi Ashi, welcome everyone.
Hello everyone. So we want to make this our gray. Boom, and there we go. Now we have a nice embroidered logo. It's not perfect, but this, to me, if it's not like super detailed, is good enough to ship to a client for a mock-up instead of using a template. And again, all the things that we're doing, you can go buy somewhere, but hopefully you save money. Like go buy Starbucks, treat yourself, do this on your own, and you'll save some money. So that's how you do that. And again, sometimes things that are right are worse. So we're gonna go in here and we are going to add a little bit of blur to this just to get some of these edges that look perfect to look a little less perfect. And I usually do just a 0.4 pixels. And there we go. Now we have a nice little embroidered logo.
That's so cool.
Yeah, super fun. And again, you can come in, you can change the textures, you can change the colors, and do whatever you want with this. What's really fun to do though is if you're working with like a logo or something that has like different dimensions, actually let's do this with 58 seconds. Is we can start to mask these. So I'm gonna make a copy of our texture layer and I'm gonna come in here and let's do this. Is we are going to mask these into different portions. And this is super sloppy because we don't have a ton of time because chat and win is coming. But we can mask these into different spots. And it's a very sloppy mask. But if we unlink it, we can follow the direction of the stitching. Right? So you can make it look like it's stitching in different directions. Just by changing the orientation of those and masking different areas.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so it looks...
Makes it look more natural, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. More natural, a little more authentic. So with that, I think it's time for Chat and Win.
Yay!
Chat and Win!
You guys type something into the chat and yeah, we're gonna be right back with you.
Anything else? We're back. Chat. Type whatever you want.
Type anything into the chat, and you can win 100 Sticker Mule stickers. And it's exciting. I love stickers so much.
I think between us, we might have... How many stickers do we have here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, so we've got like almost 20 stickers here. You get 5 times as many stickers as we have.
I actually made this one myself.
Yes, I think I made most of these. Yeah, keep chatting in chat. This one's by Noah Jacobus. I made this one here. I made this one here. This one is a reference to Willy Wonka.
Oh, I love
the
that.
good and bad eggs.
It.
She like steps on it and it goes bad egg. And then this one's one of my favorites. And we have a winner.
Winner, Jennifer Cristado.
Jennifer Cristado.
Congratulations, and we're gonna get back to you on Behance, so stay tuned. And for all of you guys who hasn't won, you can still go to stickermule.com/AdobeLife19 and you will get 10 Sticker Mule stickers for only $1 with free delivery. So yeah, make sure to check it out and make your own stickers. Have fun with it.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah.
I feel like the last name, and I forgot it already, of the person that won, it sounded like a delicious like snack, like a pastry. Like I want it to be like almost like a biscotti, but like it sounded delicious. You said it, and I was like, yeah, I want that.
It sounded exquisite.
Yes, Kathleen, keep trying. You will win. Oh, Kathleen, hello. I know you. Raymond Alva in the house. Raymond Alva is also an amazing photographer. Check out his Instagram. I think it's just Rapberry. And check out his website, raymondalva.com, I believe. Sorry, Raymond, if that's not right. You can drop your link into chat if you want. He does incredible work. Cool. So let's take a look. Oh, there it is. Cristado. There it is, Cristado. It sounds delicious, right?
Cristado, like tostada.
Yes, like a tostada. Let's come in here.
But a little bit more up class.
Yes, yeah, like a really fancy.
Like a very fancy tostada.
Yes. So
sorry,
sorry,
Jennifer. We're making fun of you. No, we're not actually.
Ripam Paul, I will know you. I want to know you as well. Please just hit me up on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let's be best friends. I'll be your pen pal. Cool, so we're gonna add in one more just because we are in here and I want to actually finish this to look well. We are going to make one more layer mask. And we're gonna do it in a vertical direction so that this stitching looks authentic.
Yeah, Ribam was also agreeing that she sounds delicious.
Yes. So basically what's happening here in the layers is we're masking it, and this texture that is our noise that is motion blurred, it's basically still full here, just getting masked out. And so we're gonna rotate it so that it stitches, there we go, at a pretty much vertical. And then I'm gonna come in here because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I'm gonna clean up these edges just a tiny bit. Oh, that is not the brush we want. Oh,
that would be a little crazy if the stitching had the stamp in it as well. Wow.
Oh, I did a thing. I did a wrong thing. All right. Oh, guys, we are struggling. We are on the struggle bus this morning. There we go.
Yay.
Wow. We did it. All right. Let's call that close. So this is the kind of effect that you can get. You can get these hard seams, which is really nice. And then with each of these, you can add some shadows. You can start moving and add bevels to those so that they have a little more dimension. Yes, Ripam, I never group my layers or named them. I'm sorry, everyone. Also, someone pointed out, and I think it's hilarious, I use a dark theme in Photoshop and I use the light theme in Illustrator. I think in Illustrator, I want it to look open so I can work wherever, and in Photoshop, I'm usually focusing on the image, so I want it all to go away.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can come here, and y'all, we did it. We can cross off embroidered.
Embroidered.
Embroidered. This is like how some people spell my last name. They look at Hochradel and they're just like, yeah, we'll get the HOC and then just drop the rest of the letters alphabet soup. Yep. Hey, Doc Reed.
Yeah, my last name is also really difficult for people to pronounce because it has a lot of A's and a lot of L's and S. Yeah. So it's just Masalska.
Yes,
Ma
Rachel
salsa.
Thomas, I did a thing. I very often will talk to, my mom will call or my dad will call and they're like, what'd you do today? And I'm like, I made a Q. Like that was the extent of my day. I made a really good letter and that was it.
Yeah, same thing happens to me. And also I'm really excited to experiment with, with my iPad and all that stuff.
Yep.
So.
All right, let's do one more real quick. You have 54 minutes to submit your portfolios.
Yeah.
So get up on that, send them through. I'm going to be giving some critique and insight. And we are going to do one more texture before we get hands-on. There it is. We are going to do spray painted. So we're going to be looking at super easy way to do spray painted. This is something that you can do airbrush, you can do super, super advanced. Again, Josh Arisa, we've talked about him like a million times, but he is the king of this. Like, I'm not going to show you how to do this. We're going to show you a way. We're not going to show you the way. Go check out his Instagram. He does insane things with this kind of spray painted airbrush look. So let's hop back into Photoshop. And we'll just work in this same space. Here you go, Ripham. How do you like this? Boom, grouped. So it's very, very easy to do this spray painted kind of look. We're just gonna go ahead and make a new texture here. And if you've ever seen like light rays coming through something and it feels like it's dispersing out into the distance, this is how you do that. You're gonna go ahead and make a new layer and you're gonna make a rectangular marquee box. Is that what it's called? Yeah, rectangular marquee, we did it.
Wow.
And we are going to make that new layer and then we're gonna grab a very soft, very big brush. If we were putting on translucent setting powder, this would be a powder brush. And so we are going to change the blending mode over here to dissolve. What dissolve is going to do is I like to think of it as a continuing confetti cannon. When you hit the brush, it explodes and creates this very interesting dissolve.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it's spray painting, it's like it's creating this kind of very stippled effect. And so what we're gonna do is we're basically painting inside this bounding box. So let's do light rays. Let's go ahead and make this a nice yellow. And all we're gonna do is we are going to start brushing out on the side here, and you can see that it's pulling in a little bit of that edge. So the further you brush out a little bit, it will kind of show. So we're gonna brush in some little dispersed kind of light rays.
Voodoo is asking if you can hold up the brush so she can really see. Is it from Mac?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, where's oh, it's here. There it is. So we're gonna be working today with this. Oh, it focused! It actually did it! Oh, that's my favorite thing that's ever happened. Yes, we'll be working with this mouse. That's the brush that we're using. So we're coming in here and we are doing that dissolve on this edge. Then we're gonna deselect Command D. And what we're gonna do, super easy, we're just gonna start making these so that they are coming through. And what you'll see with dissolve is as you change it, it keeps that dissolve on the sides, right? And so we don't want that. And so what I like to do is I'll create a blank layer underneath this. And as we merge down, Command E, it will basically stamp that in. It will keep this texture. So now when we scale, it is now keeping that exact texture that we had.
Yeah.
And so we want that, so we're gonna blow it up about here. And again, sometimes things that are better or worse, so we are gonna add that little bit of a blur.
You know how like sometimes they show pictures of planets in space?
Yes.
And when like the sun is behind it?
Yep.
So it gives it like a kind of like a three-dimensional feel.
Totally, yeah. So these look two perfect pixels, and we want them to not feel like that. So we're gonna just, add that little blur, and it helps to soften them up. And again, that 0.4, now you have this nice little airbrushed kind of look. And this is a super easy way. We're just gonna just grab this, and we're gonna start adding it through here. We're gonna drop in some different opacities.
Philippa is saying she was working in the background and she jumped out from your laugh.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we all jumping from Andrew's laughs. Right,
So
Andrew?
yes. So you can see these, and what's great is, let's say that we do want to put like a planet in there. It's super easy to do with these light rays. We're just gonna add an ellipse in here, and we'll make that like a little aqua. Oops.
Nora's saying it's like ice topping on a cake.
Yeah, totally, yep. And so we're gonna drop this under some of these layers. There we go, and you can see that it starts to get that kind of dimensional feel. And we're actually gonna pull this layer back behind. There we go. And what's great is you can just mask out on this edge here.
Pew, pew, pew.
On this ellipse, we're gonna mask that out. Do it that way. And now it's giving you a little bit of that dimension. Those little light rays, super easy. And if we want, we can just, again, do the same thing inside this. We can mask by clicking Command and clicking on that thumbnail. Go ahead, make a new layer again, set it to dissolve, and we're just gonna grab a gray in here and start to dissolve out this edge. And again, same thing. We're gonna make a layer underneath, merge it down, filter, blur, Gaussian. You can write an action for this super easily. Apply that same mask. Actually, let's just link it. There we go. And now we can change this to multiply, and we'll pick up some of those elements. But now we have that nice stippled effect that is looking good, I think.
Yeah, I love it. It reminds me of those illustrations, you know, where they add the same similar effect to create three-dimensional feel.
Yep, yeah. Someone who does this really well is Adam Grayson. Grason. You can follow him on Instagram. He has brush packs. He is a master of this kind of texture. Does amazing stuff. So go follow him. But let's take a look at spray painting, because we talked about doing some of this spray painting. I'm going to group these and just... Oh boy. All right, let's group these, hide them, boom. So let's take a look at spray painting if we're doing like a stencil. So we've done a lot of kind of that airbrush that we just looked at. Let's do a stencil, and I want to do a stencil for this Hot 2020. Boop, boop. So we're gonna do this in Illustrator just because it's way easier to make a stencil. And you need to think when you're making a stencil that you need to be able to hold it up and keep it. So something like these terminals that are happening in the O's, these are called terminals, cutouts of letters. We need to make those terminals be able to get out. So I like to think of it as a pond, right? We don't want ponds, we want streams. So think of it that if you have a pond, it's gonna be stagnant and it's gonna get infested with mosquitoes and everyone's gonna hate it. So what we wanna do is we wanna come in here and make sure that we are making extra little terminals for the water to escape. So we only need to do that on letters that have terminals in them that don't connect to a outside water source. So we're just gonna do it on these O's. I actually hate the way that looks. So we're gonna get a little bit crazy.
It almost looks like church.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like very crossy, and I don't really want that. So let's do like this weird Under Oath kind of thing. Did anyone else listen to Under Oath? They were like a cool hardcore band. I guess they're still a cool hardcore band. They're just a little different now. So yeah, let's do a weird O like that just to do our terminals. Just because we're feeling a little crazy today. We're feeling spicy today.
Yeah.
And again, we're gonna grab these.
And you know what your last name also means? Hoch means up.
Yes, I've heard that it means like.
And it works perfectly with this upgoing.
Oh, that's
line,
true.
So.
Yeah, I've heard that it means like high rider or like a person on like a bicycle.
Yeah. Yeah, like riding up the hill.
Oh yeah, which I've done a lot of in San Francisco this week. Cool. So we made that a compound path just because it's going to make it a compound path, which is what we want. Now we're going to punch this out. That's not what I did. Why did I keep closing my Pathfinder and I need it all the time. There we go. We're gonna punch these out. So now we have these terminals punched out. Now is when we take it into Photoshop.
Yay.
Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yes, there are two ways to do this. This is where my ideas are. They're actually, those are my notes up on the ceiling. So we're gonna go
What do I
ahead.
do next?
I know, we're gonna drop this in here. We've got our little terminals. And we're actually gonna do this both ways because this isn't the wrong way. There are no wrong ways to do things in design, only different ways. So we're gonna grab this here. And what I like to do is we're thinking of this as a spray paint, as a stencil. So we are going to do a layer above, and let's do white just because I think it will look nice here. And by white, I mean light gray.
Yeah, speaking of scene phases, what scene phases did you go through?
Oh, what scene phases? I was like Haste the Day, Under Oath. I was like the hardcore kid for a minute. Then I got into the dancey stuff, and now I almost
What did you dance?
What?
What did you dance?
Oh, I didn't dance. I listened to dance music.
Oh, okay.
And then I was
used to
like,
dance. I used to dance hip hop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to dance hip hop.
Yeah, I used to learn choreographies and all that stuff with a
Yes.
group of dancers.
Yes, I wanted to do tutting. I think that's the coolest stuff that you can do with your
Or
hands.
step dance or something.
Yeah. I always end up
That's really cool.
trying to, and then it turns into the cheerleader thing.
The uncontrolled dove.
Yes, yeah, but I've landed on Theater Kid. I'm a huge theater kid, so I love musical theater.
Yeah, I love that too.
And that's where I've landed.
Awesome.
Cool. So we have our shape here, and we're basically gonna just spray paint it, kind of blow it out on the sides. We're gonna change it to dissolve. Again, dissolve is the way to do this. That's way too big. So we're gonna take it down a little bit smaller here so that we can have these little hits. And what I like to do is we're basically just going to pick different areas and stipple. Stippling is when you just do little dots. So as we stipple this, you'll see it's looking a little piecemeal, and it's starting to look like I'm just hitting it with these spray paints. So I'll come in here and, oh, that was too much. Actually leave that. So now we have something on top, and this is going to be subtractive texture. So we are going to come in here, we're gonna make our layer underneath. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, just command click on our thumbnail here of the shape underneath of the Hawk 2020, and we are gonna mask it out of this, right? So now we have this nice texture. This is super, super easy to do. And it has to be done in a destructive workflow. So you have to have the dissolve and then mask it down. From what I know, I'm sure that other people do it different ways that probably works way better. But this is the way we do it. No wrong way. So what we're gonna do, again, we're gonna come in here and I wanna blur this out just a little bit. Filter blur. The edge is a little bit too clean for me, so we're gonna do the 0.4 pixel. And then the edge on this mask even is too clean for me, so we are going to go ahead and blur that out as well. There we go, and now we've got a nice spray paint. It feels like it's stenciled in there, and again, super, super easy.
Nice.
But there is yet another way.
Yeah, there's always different ways, huh?
Always different ways. What we're gonna do is, so that would be as if we were spray painting inside of something. And being a theater kid, this next one that we're gonna do, I like to call the Rent spray. Rent is a great Broadway show. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. But we are going to put a box around this so that it looks like it was stenciled inside. So I'll show you here, we'll put a color behind it. So we're just putting a box behind it, and then we have our text in front. Oh yeah, maybe I should make some actions. I'll make a blur action that's literally just a 0.4 pixel blur. And that's, every time, that's it. Cool, so we're gonna do the layer on top, we're gonna do the box in the back, and we're just gonna make that a compound shape, so it's punched out. Again, this is an example of subtractive texture. We're taking what's on top, slapping it in to the bottom. We're gonna make that black, and we're gonna take it back into Photoshop. Let's go ahead and paste this in here.
It's funny that you're talking about additive designing, like to add something and to cut something out, right? So I was thinking about the same techniques in 3D printing. There's different 3D printers where you can basically either add material or subtract material.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh no, actually the 3D printers always add material, but then there's different machines that subtract the material.
Yeah.
So it's like different ways of producing something.
Yeah, and I love that, like with 3D printers, that's like a great analogy. That if you've ever seen like a 3D printer printing, the inside is just like this weird lattice that's like empty, but then the outside looks like it's like full and solid.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing in Photoshop. We are faking it on the inside, and the outside looks great. So this is what I like to call the rent effect, as if it's stamped in there. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little rent angle. That was one of my favorite sound effects we've done.
You know what? It would be so cool if like the Adobe apps had sound effects that you can just connect to the different things that you do. That would be so amazing.
Yes. So again, we're just gonna do the same thing. We are going to create a new layer, add dissolve, and then start brushing in some of this. So we want it, not that much, but we want like a good amount of overspray. This is called overspray. And again, we are just stippling this. We're not actually painting in the whole thing because we want it to feel like we've missed little spots. When I spray paint, it never looks good. And what you're paying attention to is you want it to bleed off these edges just a little bit. So we want little edges. And then when I'll go ahead and do this smaller, and I'll start hitting some of these edges with like actual big splotches. Especially the corners, because I feel like that's where it would happen. Some of these areas that are a little bit lighter.
Usually designs like that have like paint dripping down and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you can add a lot of those textures, and even taking this into fresco and using some of those live brushes.
Oh yeah.
I think you can create like a lot of that kind of stuff. Textures only device. Cool, so let's go in here. So we have this overspray, and underneath we're hiding what our stencil is. So literally this is the same workflow as the real world. You have a stencil, you have something in the back, and then you're spraying something on top. Again, we're just thinking in layers and trying to convert that from the real world into creating something digitally. So we have that on top. We're going to command and click our bottom layer shape. And oops, I missed a step. We need to bring this spray paint texture into its own layer. So we're gonna command click. We are going to mask, and now you see we're basically inside, and we want the overspray. We want to cut that out on the other side, right? So now we have this. We have our stencil there. We have the wall, and then we have the spray paint. So if we peel off that stencil, imagine we're peeling. Now we have this great overspray, right? That it feels like it's been sprayed on there. Feels like it's been spray painted. Has these weird little edges coming out over it. And we're going to, again, come in here. We're gonna blur this out by just a little bit, 0.4. And now we have this great little stamp. And what I like to do sometimes is, let's say that we have this stamp, is we want to make something a different color. So let's say we want to, actually let's just do, oh, I messed that up. Let's just do this whole 2020. So let's say we want this 2020 to be a bright red. I keep using different things, but we need to just use our
brand colors.
Brand colors. So I made a copy of that selection. We're gonna apply this same layer mask to it. And now let's offset this a little bit. So you can see it's a separate layer.
Yeah.
Yep, but a little bit the same. And we are going to do color overlay. Color overlay, and we'll just grab a red here. There we go. We'll change this mode to dissolve. What that's gonna do is it's gonna take the texture that's underneath, and it's going to just tweak it a little bit so it doesn't look exactly the same. And then we're gonna create a new layer, merge that down, and change this blend mode to multiply. Right? So we need to, again, just blur it a little bit. I need like a hotkey that just does that blur. So now we have this great spray painted effect. What's great is when you have white and you multiply it and offset it like this, you get that interaction of whatever color is underneath it. It looks like it's like offset, misprinted from the printer, which is great.
Everybody wants the drips. People are asking for the paint drips.
Yeah. How would we do paint drips? You know what? I don't know. I don't know how I do paint drips. Yeah, I mean, we can just, let's do that. Let's literally just make a new layer here. Everyone's gonna be so disappointed in the way these look. We're gonna make a new layer here. We are going to change it to dissolve. And we're going to do, actually, let's go into Illustrator. Sorry,
yeah, I think that's Illustrator. I think
I was
it's
thinking
easier.
about how it looks to do a paint drip, right? So imagine, yes, I'm using my trackpad. You know, I definitely like working on my trackpad because it feels like I can touch it.
Yeah.
A lot of times
like
because
zooming in, zooming out.
yeah,
right?
because we're working and it feels like we're converting from the real world in. It feels like I can touch it and feel it move around. So converting from the real world, let's think about the aspects of a paint drip, right? So we have a paint drip and we have, usually it starts larger at the top.
Yeah.
It comes down and has like a little bit of a curve, right? And then it ends and kind of like goops at the bottom.
Yeah, like a
So it's got that kind of look. So we're gonna do two things. So we're thinking in real world effects. So we have the top usually has that curve to it. And usually it starts kind of like that. So that would kind of be the top. Yeah.
I'm actually looking at pictures of paint drip right now.
Yeah, let's throw to your screen and see if we can find
So
something
maybe
good.
something like this. I don't know, just, I don't know. This looks kind of like almost like splashed onto something.
Exactly. Yep, we can do this. We can do this, guys. It's gonna be easy. So we are starting with the splotch on top. We have that line usually that we're just gonna mask into the blur. Oh, Hood's in the house. Hello, Hoods. Hello, welcome. Yes, thank you for your endorsement on the site. And if you haven't seen it, you guys can go check out the site. Their book is up there. You can check it out on their website. Super, super helpful, super awesome. They're the greatest. Okay, cool. So we're converting from the real world. Imagine it in your mind's eye. We have the spray paint, and then it's going to come down and it's going to blob. So it's going to come to a smaller part. Let's see, that's inside here. So this is our smallest area.
Yeah.
And then it's going to come down to a little bit of in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually blend this. So again, it's following that line. Is we're going to select this top circle and this bottom circle here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do object, blend options. We're going to do specified steps, and we're just going to set it at 100. That's probably way too many, but we're doing it. Then we're going to go back, object, blend, make. And you see it's going to give us that nice little, it's kind of coming down to that shape.
It also reminds me of your logo a little bit with the exclamation mark.
Oh, it does have the exclamation mark. Yep. And then we're going to do that same thing here to create that blend. So now we have a little bit of that drip. We want to make this bottom part just a little bit bigger. And blend is basically going to make it so that you can create those. So we are going to make a copy of this just to work on it. I'm going to go ahead and expand so that we have this shape. It has a million shapes. It actually has 205 shapes to be specific because we know that number. It's got all these weird anchor points, but that's fine. So if you have hard edges like this and you want it to be softer and kind of in Illustrator have that curve, all you have to do is go to Effect and Blur. And again, we're working with blur so much. We're gonna blur this out a bit. Oh, that was too much. That was too much of a bit. Cool, so this is blurred out a bit. And what blur does is it's gonna soften these edges. So as we go through here, we're gonna rasterize this. And then we're gonna go into our image trace. And again, I have a pack of settings, it's halftones. It's basically just very, very high contrast, a lot of different, points. And it's not quite as much as I want, but we'll roll with it. So we're gonna bring this in here. We're going to paste that in. And this is going to look bad. Like this is going to look bad. And something that I think is my strength is when I'm bad at designing something or like creating a shape or it's not working, you can just hide it with texture. Cool, so let's get a small little drippy under here. Great. We're gonna drop this under. All those layers, there we go. All right, cool. So we're just gonna use this and we're gonna start brushing in some of that dissolved texture. Oh, not with red, with white. Cool. So we have that. Let's turn off this layer underneath. Let's have, actually that's feeling all right. So again, we're just using values. We're just using these shapes for their values. We're gonna blur this out a bit, just a little 0.4. Boom, and then we're gonna move it up here so it's hiding just a little bit more. And now we have a nice little paint drip.
Nice.
We can drop some more of these
Awesome.
in here. And again,
This looks cool.
Working with texture, you can hide so much. You can hide so many things that aren't working right. And even with these, I can come in, and even though I'm using the same one, as we shrink it and grow it, these textures are gonna change. They're gonna look a little bit different so that we have those nice little drips.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
if you look here, this does not at all look like a paint drip,
Yeah.
but we got the idea and the concept and then worked with what we had to create those kind of drips using
Super
texture.
cool.
Yeah. All right, so we did it. We have done, oops. We have done spray painted. We did pressed yesterday. So we are on to the last one, which is actually the look for the campaign. We finally made it to our end
Yay, you
destination.
finally made it.
So let's take one more look at the site just to refresh ourselves with what those assets look like. So again, if you want to follow along at home, you can go to hoch.host, hoch.host, or you can go to hoch.co/mc, hoch.co/mc. So if you look here, we're working with a lot of these weird textures. They are textures of stars, textures of lines. We try
Like
to
they're
incorporate.
painted with a marker, right?
Yeah, like they're painted with a marker. And sometimes we have shown you so many advanced techniques, right? We've showed you how to spray paint. We've showed you how to do all kinds of techniques. And this entire campaign was literally made with a marker, right? There's no better way to get a marker texture
With a Sharpie.
than to just do a marker. So we have here, let's cut over to our incredible
Camera
GoPro
situation.
cam. Oh, it turned off. Oh, there we go.
Let it go for a second.
We are
Yay.
doing it.
Looks like it's on.
It is on. Ooh, it's on.
Do we need this?
We will use that. Yeah, we'll use that in just a second. Actually, let's go ahead and put some paint on there just so we're ready.
Okay.
So this is something you can buy on Amazon. Super, super easy. It's metal. If you can hear it, this is your ASMR for the day. That's for you. This is your oddly satisfying for the day. It's squishy, oddly satisfying. I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna put a little bit of paint on here. So this is something called a brayer. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna give us a very subtle texture. And it's from Speedball. You can get these on Amazon. That is a beauty YouTuber if I've ever seen one. Just like the perfect reflection. So it's super easy. You can get these on Amazon. I think they're like 10 bucks. And we're just gonna roll this out. We want it to be super, super thin because we want a nice subtle texture. All right, and then this goes away. Let's put it up there just because it has paint on it. And the brayer is now coated in ink. You can see a little bit of that shine. And we're gonna do this on paper is we're just gonna get some edges here. And let's move this up a little bit. We're just gonna do these edges. And you can see that we're getting some nice little lines. As we start to do a little more of these textures, you get really nice textures from braying. And these are textures we can do in Photoshop. These are textures we can put into Illustrator. Let's do one that's super thick. Right, so we get these really cool textures. They're super easy to use and very helpful for us. So we're gonna go ahead and actually put these to the side. We'll come back to those.
Do you need more of the paint?
No, we're gonna move on to doing these markers. So these are the markers that we're using. Crayola, Sharpie, and Expo. We are equally represented here. Please sponsor us, any of these three. And we're just gonna start drawing stuff on these papers. So what I did is I'm literally at home at my desk and just started to work with some of the elements that we wanted in our brand elements. So cutting back to my screen, I wanted these to be some of the brand elements, right? We're working with stars and stripes, working with kind of this dot pattern and some of these star rows. And so what I wanted to do was really incorporate those into here. So I literally just took a Sharpie marker. There's a button actually right under here. And just started making things like this. So if you want to draw on that side, we can start making those.
Stars?
Yeah, let's do some stars. You can do some circles, some little dots. I like to make basic shapes because then you can use them for other things. Let's do a little voting box here. Let's do a little dot grid. And so you see, again, there's no wrong way to do things in design. There's always a way, and as long as you get to something that looks good, it doesn't really matter how you get there. So let's do some lines like this. Some circlies, there we go. And so literally all that we're gonna do is now that we've drawn this on the piece of paper, I'm gonna jump over here to the Hawk Cam. Patent pending. And we are going to go ahead and snap a photo of this. And we could do this in Lightroom so that it would sync. We can do this in Adobe Capture, but I like to do it with my phone so that I can just airdrop it and then have complete control over what we are going to be doing and editing with that. So coming over here, oh, I need to airdrop those to myself.
Oh.
Hold, please. Oh, if
Please
you
hold.
Yeah, if you all saw and you didn't see it, but if I would have gone to my camera roll, you would have seen so many pictures from
Of seals.
Yes, of seals yesterday and of me playing Pokemon Go all day yesterday. I went for a 3-hour walk because it was a special raid hour. If you play Pokemon Go, please sound off in the chat. Please add me. Let's be friends on Pokemon Go. Cool. So we have, oops, let's go to our downloads. Cool. And let's just grab one of these. Let's open it in Photoshop. Thank you, phone. And so again, we don't care that these are not looking great. We really don't care at all about.
Wait, what do you mean? I think they look great.
They do look great. Sorry, they look great. But we're gonna start pulling out and extracting, and I think that let's use this star here. I think it's got some good dynamic kind of things going on. So I'm literally just going to grab this star. And we'll work just with this star for now to show you all some things. So we have this star, and again, we're just looking for the values of this. Team Instinct, yes, I'm Team Instinct. So we're just looking for the values, and this gray, not gonna work, right? We're working with subtractive texture, so it's only, we want the black and white, and we want that white to just go away. So we're gonna add a gradient map here. And as you can see, it's starting to already make that black and white. And as we pull this here a little bit that way, you can see it's starting to take away some of those grays. So we wanna incorporate some of those grays, but not all of them. So that feels right. Let's pull this black down a little bit to get a little more contrast. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we have a nice contrasty image. And what we're gonna do is come over here into channels. We're gonna select RGB, and that's basically taking all of the values of 0 and just knocking them out. And it's selecting only the values that have a value, if that makes sense. So we'll go back here to our layer, and we are just going to mask this out. So now if you see, we have this nice star. We've masked out all of the grays, and it's actually looking a little light to me. It's masked out a little bit too much. And so that's very, very easy to fix. Is what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and just merge this down. Let's create a safety layer. I'm gonna merge this down, and if you want more density on it, what I do is I literally just make copies. And we'll keep making copies so that it feels a little bit more dense. And that feels pretty all right to me, right? It's got a little bit of that texture, still feels authentic. And I am going to go into File, Edit. There we go. And Divine Brush Preset. Let's make this star. And now, if we go back to our document, we have this great star brush that we just made that is literally a star.
Yay!
Right? And so this is something that we can go back. Whoop, these are all the things from yesterday. That's our gum from yesterday. We can go back and you can just start grabbing these assets and make it super easy. You can make as many brushes or whatever you want. And if we want to, and this is how I usually do my workflow, is I will come in here and I'll just edit the whole thing. So I'll look at some of these shadows, like this is my phone right here, and I'll just make sure that that shadow goes away. I'll pull that white until it goes away, and then I'll pull these in a little bit. And we are gonna actually take this into Illustrator. So as you can see, it's got a lot of these great values and subtleties coming in here. This is not great for large scales, but this is incredible for making stamps and just stamping them onto things in Photoshop. Let's do this. Let's grab one of these lines. Actually, let's grab all these lines. What I'm gonna do in 8 seconds, we'll time and we'll see if we can do this in 30 seconds. Wait for it, wait for it. So this is how easy it is to make brushes in Photoshop. All right, let's see here. Oh my goodness. All right, so we copy that. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna make a new document. We're gonna paste that in. We're gonna go to channels, select the channel. We are gonna mask it. We are going to do it, invert it, mask it down. Oops. Oh no, I made a mistake. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna merge these down, apply, apply, edit, and where is it? Define brush preset, lines. There we go, and now we have a brush. So we did that in just under 30 seconds. Sorry, just over 30 seconds. And now we come in here and we have these great lines.
I love that.
So we can start working here with some of these lines and putting them in different areas to create that. So literally
so cool.
in 10 minutes, you can make a brush pack. You can draw whatever you want. You can scan it in and make a super, super easy brush pack.
Amazing.
Let's go
I think
back.
those are very great tips. I think people will love you for this.
Super easy. So there's 17 minutes. Get your portfolios in. We'll be reviewing them.
Yeah, you can find the link to the portfolio submission above the chat. So yeah, check it out.
Yep.
And I'm so looking forward to see them.
Yes, it's gonna be so good. So now let's take this into Illustrator. So let's say we wanna make shirts, and this is actually what I've done on the campaign, is I've created these little elements and I've made them so that they're vector so I can put them wherever I need them. And so let's switch over. What I'm gonna do is, now that this is pretty much black and white and a little bit contrasty,
also, vectors are good for larger scale, right?
yes, so these will be able to scale infinitely, so that when I hang my banners from the Smithsonian at the end of my campaign, we'll be able to do it. Cool, so we're basically going to create very, very contrasty images here. So instead of trying to catch the values of anything in between 1 and 0 on that black to white scale, we want no grays. We're pushing 100% black and 100% white because we're gonna be taking it into Illustrator, and it just helps Illustrator process a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and merge that down. And I'm going to brush out some of these other areas just so we have a fully white document. Oh, I caught a little bit of that edge. Don't want that. Let's make a hard brush. All right, cool. So we are going to save this just as a JPEG. Markers. Okay. Oops, that's my face. So you'll see we incorporated a lot of these brand elements that we talked about, and we are just kind of remixing them. So we're going to come down here into a corner. And this is why I work with the light theme in Illustrator, because stuff just goes all over. Like, I never work on artboards, I just throw it wherever. So we are going to drag that image, markers, into Illustrator. Boop. Now we got this image in Illustrator, and we're gonna kill these because I don't want them anymore. And we are going to image trace it. So I'm gonna click on image trace and I'll show you my settings. Right now, image trace is gonna look not great on these. Let's zoom in. So it's looking okay, but it's definitely that look. Oh man, this is gonna put some people on blast. This is the look that you see at like a restaurant or like somewhere that the owner was just like, oh yeah, I can do it myself. Like, I know Illustrator, and they put it in and they just hit image trace. This is the look, is you get these huge areas of white space. you get these weird like blobby
like
edges.
Clip art.
Yes, and it looks it looks like clip art. Yeah, totally. So we're gonna zoom out here, and what we are gonna do is we're gonna come up here to our settings.
Boop.
And we're gonna do the preset. I have a preset called halftone. It's actually called halfton because I made this like 2 years ago and I've never corrected the spelling. So it's called halftone. If you watch here, see how it's picked up a lot more of that? You still have some of these white areas, but it's picked up a lot more of the detail. And that's because in these advanced settings, I've taken the paths up to 98, so it's picking up more of the paths, and the noise down to 2 pixels, which means it's picking up everything but the 2 pixels. Sorry, it's not picking up anything smaller than 2 pixels. If you set it to 1, it will kill my computer. It sounds like it's taking off like a jet. And what's happening is it's actually too light. And this threshold here is basically shifting those values of our 0 to 100. So if we take more value, if we take more threshold, it's gonna make these darker, which is what we want. It's gonna pick up some of these little areas. Cool, that feels right. So we've got these little darker areas, right? It feels a little better. They're still a little gray. These look great. And then we're gonna go ahead and we are just going to expand it. We wanna make sure that we are creating fills and that ignore white is on so that we don't have to deal with that in the future. And we're gonna expand, and now we have these great vectors to put wherever we want.
Nice.
Right? And so, let's see. Let's go ahead and we're gonna ungroup these, and in some of these, we may have to regroup them because it pulls some of these edges. And what's super easy to do is I just hit Q, and that's the lasso tool. Which I feel like I don't see a lot in Illustrator, people using the lasso tool. It's very common in...
It's very Photoshoppy.
Yeah, very common in Photoshop, but it's great for just grabbing all these pixels because there's a lot of strays just wiggling in there. And I'll grab all these and just make them groups. Let's grab some of these over here. All right. One more of these, just to have them.
Yeah, those actually came out really nice.
Yeah. And so what's great is we can make little artboards around these and export them all. So I'm gonna come down here. Just gonna drop these on artboards. And to make artboards, if you don't know, you can literally just make shapes around things. And select these and go to Object, Artboards, Convert to Artboards, boom, you have artboards.
That's
it's
super
awesome.
cool.
Yes, and yeah.
So artboards, can they also be circles? Probably not, right?
No. Can they? Hold, please. My brain's gonna explode if this is an option.
I know, same here.
No, okay, it has to be rectangles. We're all just absolutely waiting. That was awesome. Cool. So we have our artboards here in Illustrator, and now we're gonna export these. And a lot of times for clients, I'll create a lot of brand assets, and I'll come up here and we will export and do export for screens. And it will bring up this window, and it has all of our artboards here, and we can select just these little elements that we have. So we have those little stars, we have these little stripes, and our range here is 13 to 16. And what's great is we can export multiple kinds. So we can do SVGs if they need vectors. We can do a PNG, so we have that clear background, and then we can do some JPEGs. And we'll see here, let me make sure my PNGs are set to transparent. And then we can export them. We're just gonna put them in our downloads. Actually, let's drop them on the desktop.
Hi, Lori. Lori just joined us.
Hello, Lori. So super easy to do all of these at the same time. We export to artboards. It's freaking out, and we go into Finder, into our downloads, onto our desktop, and now you can say we have PNGs, SVGs, and JPEGs.
Wow.
So this is very, very helpful to clients to create those PNGs because then they can just drop them onto things. If they need to, right, that they're working in Photoshop or they have some other designer, instead of saying, here's the source file, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
You can literally just come in here and be like, no, don't touch anything. Just go ahead and drag in this PNG, and now we have a great PNG of this. And usually I'll export them black, white, colors. It's super easy. And one of the best things about this is you can import these and put them on top of things from your phone. You can use a mobile app, and because they're PNGs, if you put them on top of something, it will be very easy to design on the go. You can send them to your phone, keep them in your camera roll, and because they're PNGs, you can overlay them on photos. I think possibly you can drop them into Instagram just as photos and they will overlay. And it's super easy to do that.
Super cool.
All right, let's take a look, and this is where with the artboard tool you can the artboard tool is super helpful. Hello, Mark Bowden. He's checking in from Bermuda, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So this is where we do the cooking show, right? So let's imagine we just showed you all the ingredients, all that stuff, and I like reach under the oven and I'm like, and here it is, finished and done. We are just gonna go ahead and turn on a layer where all these things are done. And so you can see here that I've done the marker effect, I've done all the scanning, all the details, and you can see that we're literally just applying brand assets. And that's why it's so important to set your brand guidelines before you go. And we are going to, actually, I'm going to turn off this layer here for now. You can see these are all the brand assets that I created. A lot of different marker things.
And that could already be a marker pack, right? That
Exactly,
you can sell.
yes. Yeah, and so I could easily export this and be like, here's our marker pack for like, election season marker pack for, right? And it's super easy. You can make this, you can just throw it up, put it on Creative Market or Adobe Stock or something and sell it. But I love for you guys to buy these things. I love for you to support the design community, especially if I make them. Hawk.shop. You can buy my fonts there. But this is super easy to do on your own. It takes literally 10 minutes to make your own, to make them custom for a client. And so these are all the elements that I did. And again, it's very, very easy to just make little packs. These are all different stars that I made. Just drew them out on a piece of paper, scanned them in, made them into vectors. And if you can see, it's actually picked up a lot of this texture very well. It would look good at a huge size still. You can print them on t-shirts, a lot of these. And it's great when you can just start dropping that in there. So we defined, here are the styles for our type. And so we do the type and did a little bit of additive texture down here. And you can see it's interacting with that blue. That's, again, just additive texture, taking that red, multiplying with blue, and it's starting to interact.
Awesome.
Also, check out hispdesign.com. So you can see we created a lot of these kind of endorsements from some friends, from Mike Jones, who's the co-founder of Creative South, and my sweet mother, who just tells me that I need to calm down, because this is all a lot. Cool. So let's go ahead and let's recap the campaign one more time, because there's a lot of you that are just joining us. The Chutzpah team just posted on Insta Stories, so let's the people that are coming in from that, hello friends. So today we have been working on a campaign called Hawk 2020, and here's the idea. In 2020, I, Andrew Hochradel, am looking to become America's MC. I want you, the design community, to join me in this campaign, cast your vote, and help to elect me as America's MC. I want to host every design conference in the United States in the year 2020, and you can check that out at just hawk.host, or you can do it at hawk.co/MC. You can go to the website, you can track the campaign on all my social media as we go along, see some conferences that I have hosted in the past, read some endorsements. This photography is so fun by Alice Casillas. And here I will be tracking the conferences as we book them, as we get more. I'll be tracking the conferences to see where I'll be and see where you can hang out and join the community. here you can join me on the campaign trail. And this is not just for you to support me and to do something for me. I believe wholeheartedly that community is an investment. You need to invest and invest and invest into community. And in the long run, that investment will be returned with interest. And so this is a resource for you. I couldn't find somewhere on the internet that hosted all the design conferences. So I built this website to have all these design conferences here for you. You can click through to any of these conferences and buy tickets, see dates, which are also listed here. They are listed in date order. And if you want to support me after looking at these conferences and saying, hey, I'm going to this conference, I really want to have Andrew Hochradel here. I think it'd be super fun to get crazy with Andrew during this conference. You can go ahead and click on Contact Your Organizer. And as you contact your organizer, it's going to generate this tweet for you, auto-generated. I've made it for you. I've worded it. I have tagged all the organizers of the campaigns for specific conferences. And I've also put the link there that will pull in some imagery for them and be able to contact me. If you have an event, if you are having a conference, if you are having a creative mornings or something and want me to come hang out, you can submit your event here, or if you're ready to join me, you can book your event. And you can see down here in the corner, sorry, portfolio submissions are coming a little bit. I have links to Alex Casillas' website. And yes, the website is live right now, Alexandra. You can go and hit those buttons. You can tweet to some of these people if you're going to the conference, or you can just hang out. We'll be putting up some social media, sharing images if you want to join and post on social. But Alex Casillas, you can find his work here. He did all the photography. You can go to my website, which right now is literally just a placeholder. But you can check that out and become a part of the campaign. And yes, Mark has been at Creative South a couple years where we get to get a little crazy. Creative South, we do confetti cannons. We've got full productions. We had a circus troupe come through one year.
Wow.
So we have all kinds of fun at Creative South.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so that's what we've been working on. Hopefully you guys had fun. I'm gonna actually go through a little bit of my past work because we worked a lot with texture, and I wanna show you kind of the power of what you can make. I feel like a lot in the design industry, you see like people with like industry secrets, and I wanted to throw literally everything at you so that you can see how you do things, because design's really about the why. Why are you making it? What's your motive behind it? And what are you gonna do to remix it and make it a little different? So we're gonna take a look. This is my old website linked through before we did the rebrand.
In 2 minutes, we're gonna take a look at your portfolio. So
2 minutes, yes.
Stay tuned.
Yes, this is the start. Feel free, yes, if you all in chat wanna give me a portfolio critique, please portfolio critique as we go through. So this is some fun stuff that you can do, again, with textures. We're doing some of the elements with texture that you see here with the harsh edges. And this is done very easily in Illustrator, this effect. I literally typed out my name. Let's make these separate.
Ooh, I love that little smiley Hawk.host.
Yes, this is very Emily Poulin.
This is
Emily
so
Poulin
cool.
does a lot of that. So we're gonna outline it, and this is your bonus extra credit, is to make these weird wobbles. I'm literally just gonna make like a weird shape. And we are going to make this with a mesh. So it's going to mesh the top object. So we select the object on top, and we select the type, go to object, we go to envelope distort, and make with mesh, make with top object. And it's gonna warp our text into that top object, right? This is super helpful to do weird stuff if you wanna get crazy. I love doing this stuff. And so you can see I did that here and just made a GIF.
Nice.
But you can see this is a lot of piecemeal things, a lot of weird stuff. This was one of my students when I was teaching, but I love working with this kind of type and texture. If you want literally this font, I have made this font for you to use. You can get it at hawk.shop. It will redirect you to my shop on
yeah,
Creative
I've seen
Markets.
you have a bunch of cool fonts over there.
Yeah, so we have a lot of cool fonts, and this is actually the font that we are using. I made this for you, and it's what I used there. It's just called Calamity because I love that. So Calamity, $19. It is 2 full styles, and all the caps and lowercase are different. So it gives you a broad view to go and just make weird stuff, weird mashups, and really get crazy with your type.
Awesome.
So just going through a couple more. Again, you can start working with that texture, really push it to the craziest limits. This stuff is all done in camera. We literally just went and crinkled paper. Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
So then you put the type on top in Photoshop, or did you already print it?
This is all printed and torn and just color corrected in Photoshop.
I love that.
Doing this, again, you can see that soft edge that we're doing here. We literally showed you how to do this. It's super easy. And all of these, this is just a gradient with a dissolve on it. And again, we blurred it out a little bit.
Yeah, we've done something similar as well today.
Yep. This is all branding work. This, a lot of additive texture. This is a brush that I made. Josh Arisa did a poster. We keep talking about Josh. Josh Arisa did a poster and he showed how he did this. He did it way better than I did, but it's just a brush. A lot of additive texture here. And this is literally what we did today. So these are all I think it's electrical tape that we scanned in and then just started dropping stuff on.
Cool.
Yep, and using that texture.
Super cool.
Yep. And again, you can go into my shop. These are all my fonts. Templeton, this is my favorite font. It is my lowest seller. It is very specific, but it's my favorite just because it's so weird. It kind of reminds
me of cartoons.
Yes, yeah, it's very cartoony and like wrong in all the right ways. And then Quokka, we use this a little bit today.
I love this one.
Yeah, nice rounded support. It's really great to use like stretched out as just a support typeface. Industrious is also a good seller. Industrious has the texture built into it. So you have that great spray paint texture and all these little elements built in so that you don't have to go back and texture it. All of it is done in that font for you. So you can go and purchase some of those, and I will buy Starbucks and Chipotle.
Awesome. Wow, Andrew. All right, let's take a look at some of you guys' portfolios. Yes. So we're gonna go into space, and then we'll see you in a little bit. And as we're landing in space,
TARS!
Andrew, where are you?
TARS! That was the docking sequence from Interstellar. Oh goodness.
Oh wow. Okay, so we are so excited to look at your guys' portfolios.
Yes. Spaceship. Sorry. Just making movie references. All right.
Yeah, so we have here Alessandro Stickner that submitted his portfolio.
Whoa.
It already looks very exciting. I love this title picture. You can see, let me take this off real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna put on.
We have some special capabilities to be able to breathe in space.
There we go. All right.
For your safety.
Still safe, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so that texture I think is really cool here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's made like in the 3D program or if it's just Photoshop.
Yeah, it could be a lot of those. You can make that with a gradient mesh. It would take forever and be so detailed. It looks like it might be 3D rendered. But yeah, that's gorgeous. Those colors, I love that like dripping neon that you got.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes,
okay.
80s type.
Owner and designer at Stickner, graphic designer and art director at Leo Burnett. It's good to have a little, a little resume here on the side.
Yeah.
In case you have some potential clients, they want to know how long your experience is and who you worked for.
Yep. Alessandro, let's like scroll through and find something.
Yeah, just pick something you like and we're gonna take a look.
Let's go onto that arc neon.
Which one?
Let's do that one. Let's do Jump Street.
Okay. All right.
Wow, this is really good work. This is gonna be hard to critique. I'm more gonna give you like maybe ideas to explore. This is all really good work, and so there's not
amazing.
a ton that I can do. Can we scroll through a little bit? Nice. I like the little metal slug reference.
Yeah, I love how you did it in black and white and also in color.
Yep.
It's interesting how the colors are so different, but they're a little offset, so they kind of still belong together.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I would suggest, can you scroll down a little bit, like right there, yeah. The only thing that I would suggest on this would be to soften the edges a little bit, to do a little bit of dissolve, do a little bit of blur. I think if we're thinking in like reality that we want this to go back into that kind of 80s vibe, I would almost add some like a little bit of TB static, maybe some like VHS lines, something that gives it a little more texture on top. Because I just think of being in a TV, and I think having something to separate me from the digital screen of it. That's my unneeded art direction. This is great work.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I
love that.
No other critiques.
Yeah, there is some. I think there's a little.
Oh, there is.
More
Yeah, there is a little bit on
here.
there. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, and even just on those shines, maybe a little bit more noise, but like that's the most nitpicky thing ever. My goodness, that's great. That's gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, amazing. There's some noisy texture on top here.
Yep. Yeah, and we were talking before stream. I did a project where we were doing like a like 80s, 90s TV show intro that was like looking at the camera and just like smart little whatever. And we recorded it and then recorded it to a VHS player and then brought it back into the computer. So sometimes getting physical with it is the best way to do it, is actually do it.
Experimenting.
Yep. All right, let's take a look
cool.
at some more portfolios.
Yeah.
My goodness, this is gorgeous. There you are doing the stencil stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, and you did the drips way better than I did. Oh yeah, but that's, see, around the edges, that's the same technique that we were using.
Yeah.
That it's that dissolved brush, and you can see that it's hitting those edges with a little, with extra little hits. Yeah, this is great.
This is good work.
Yep, and again, it's super easy to do this stuff. We've gone through these textures and those kind of elements that you've seen here, but what he's done with it elevates it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
That it's, and I don't want to say that it's easy to do, but some of those textures are fairly simple, but the way that you apply them, it's all about the idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at another project.
Great. Yeah, let's keep scrolling down.
Wow, there's a lot.
There's a lot of good. Let's do Disco's Not Dead, because that speaks to my heart. I want like full-on disco revival. Oh, this is great. So yeah, let's scroll a little bit.
Maybe the typeface is a little difficult to read because it's so small.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe make it a little bigger.
Yeah.
Larger.
I think you're doing a lot of subtractive texture here, which is great. You're doing like the folds and the wrinkles, especially in that left corner. That's great, like the subtractive. And I think what you're doing there is you're either dropping a brush on top or you're doing those values that we looked at in black and white and then taking that and putting it on top or masking it out. And again, this is fairly easy to do if you want to do it on your own. You can definitely buy this very easily, but it's easy to do on your own, that you can take a white piece of paper and fold the edges so that it has those little crinkles, or you can even take a black piece of paper and crinkle the edges, photograph it, make it black and white, and then grab those channels and subtractive mask
There we
it.
go.
My feedback on this is that if you are doing a book cover like this to where you have those edges that are folded, most likely in the real world, if they were folded, they would also have some kind of marker, some kind of spill, some kind of something on them, or some kind of, they would just look a little bit older. So on top of this attractive texture, I would actually add some texture. I would do maybe a coffee stain. I would do maybe like a marker or like a checkout, or even putting a price tag on there. It's album art. Oh yeah, even doing like a price tag on there and then taking a very subtle subtractive texture layer and blurring out some of this, but also taking away a little bit more of it so it looks a little bit older.
Yeah.
But yeah, the design's great. I think you could ramp up the texture to feel a little more real, which is, and that's just adding more texture, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And there's a song to this too.
That's great. Yeah, I love
The
your
details.
shines.
Yeah. Awesome. I love how you show
Great
the whole
illustration.
picture and then go a little bit into detail.
Yep. Oh yeah, and it does. It looks like a flyer. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see this in like the most harsh, like intense, like black and white, like Xeroxed. What's his link?
It's Alessandro Stickner.
All right, let's
Strickner.
keep looking. Alexandro, if this is overstepping, I'm sorry, but I want to see it. STR.
STRICKNER.
Got it. Cool. I am going to be doing things on my screen real quick. Don't take a look. Just we'll continue on as normal. I'll keep looking and giving critiques. But I really
some 3D action.
Oh, so it is 3D. That's gorgeous. All right.
Awesome.
Yep. Let's keep looking over there.
Oh, I love that too. Little screen capture. Ooh, the old Game Boys. That reminds me of my childhood. The 90s. When were you born, Andrew?
I was born in 1989.
Oh, so you are 1 year older than me.
Yes.
Wow. This Game Boy is from 91 and 92.
Oh, Game Boys.
It's
I love
20
that that's
years
on your
ago.
mood board. And that's the thing. Like, if you're making mood boards, just make them about things that you're passionate about and be like, this feels right for this project and I love it. Because if you fill your mood boards with things from Pinterest that you don't actually care about, then it's just kind of pointless to do a mood board. They're just things to try to sell a client. You need to be passionate about your projects.
What I would do here, maybe to arrange the pictures together, you know, so kind of like it's not too much scrolling, so you have more pictures at once.
Yeah, and I'd love to see like one sheet of all your inspiration, everything together, and especially because this is 80s. Oh, this is what I want to see. I want to see a mood board that's like an old like Nintendo catalog.
Oh.
Like I want to see like the like 80s ad that's like a catalog with like all this stuff in it.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely
like
what I
little
want.
ads, right? That they put into the catalogs.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, we can cut to my screen now. All right, so, and this is what I wanted. Hopefully I didn't go too far, but literally these are just gradient maps. So he has a great base here and I wanted to see it as like a like Misfits, like super like harsh Xerox.
Grungy.
And so literally all we did is we started dropping gradient maps on here and you'll see that we can get some of these textures that are happening. We're just caring about those values and pulling those values to extremes gives you this really crazy kind of gritty, and it's all in there. It's just a matter of changing it. So you did a great job at incorporating texture. And a lot of times this is how I'll evaluate texture if it needs more, if it needs less. Some of this you wouldn't really notice in the original, right? It's kind of hidden back here as a glow. But then you look and you see, oh, there's a lot of texture subtly in here, which is really, really nice. So sorry for ruining your project. I had to see it in my heart.
Super cool.
Cool.
Well, let's move on. Do you want to see any of these?
Do we have any other portfolios?
Yeah, we have
Yeah, let's
one
take
more.
a look at another one.
Okay. All right. Alessandro, thank you so much for submitting your portfolio.
you.
We really loved it.
Yeah,
and,
it's great.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, make sure to follow Alessandro, check out his work. And the second portfolio that we have today is from Josh Velasquez.
Yes.
And I see a lot of
A Kokomo.
anime, illustration. Let's start with this one.
That's great. Yeah. Pokemon.
All
These are in the
right.
new starters from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
All right, we have a video here. Hopefully this will work out. Yeah.
Oh, they move. Oh, it's so cute.
It's really cute, right?
Oh, I wasn't ready. Oh, these are
I
great.
love this one.
Yes. You're doing all the things right. Okay, we're just gonna let this play, and I'm gonna go through each of these. So top middle. Actually, the Josh Animates coming in Really great movement. A lot of times you need to look at what you're communicating and what is the thing that you're saying. And here you're saying you're fun, it's bouncy. Instead of just having it fade in, you're like, oh my goodness, Josh animates. It's got that motion and that energy, which is great. The middle one is awesome. I love that it's got that kind of, it reminds me of that racing game that's like, I think it's called Road Rash or something. No, it's not Road Rash. But anyway, there's a racing game, and I love that you've added that right there.
Yeah,
yep.
It's really cool.
Yeah, because it makes it feel authentic. My feedback on that one would be texture it. Like hit it with noise, hit it with something that makes it look wrong. Add bars. That's a super easy way to do a television effect, is add black bars that are spaced out a little bit, blur them by 5 pixels, and then turn the opacity to 10. It will basically make it so that it looks like it's a TV.
Nice. Awesome.
The one on the right, super great. I love
cute.
it. Yep, I love.
But then they're saying it looks like you.
Oh, it kind of does. Yeah, if I can get the like full on.
And you will need that hat too.
Yeah, tell me I'm beautiful. And the Pokemon. I mean, they're Pokemon. It's great. I love that on Score Bunny, you have specifically animated like each of the parts. So I think if like the little fur tufts on the side were moving together, it would like not work well. If the ears were moving like in tandem at the same time, just equally, it wouldn't work well. And the way that you have everything, it's very dynamic, very moving.
Yeah, because actually it's very symmetric, and then the movement that's not very similar kind of makes it look realistic, more realistic.
Yeah,
more interesting.
And it looks like. Yes, you are. So I love that the highlights in the eyes are moving opposite of the pupils, or the irises, I guess. See how they're like moving up? Oops. Oh yeah, let's restart. But I also want to see the largest living thing. I love, that it's also like separating. That's great because that light would be constant and it would stay in the same place on the eyes. So that's great.
Yeah, it's some really cool animation.
Yep. Can we zoom in on the eyes in the middle there? Oh man, I forgot what this is called, but he's a guy. I love the wiggle on the eyes specifically because this is a water Pokemon. And you're thinking, we're getting so into Pokemon today. It's a water Pokemon, and you're thinking that it feels wet, it feels like that water, and you don't have it on Score Bunny. I love the detail of having that attention to detail. That's really good. And I love that he just looks concerned all the time. Like, this is me for this entire week before coming on.
Aww.
Like, this is my look.
Oh, Andrew. You don't have to be concerned. You're doing great. Oh, look, there's more.
Oh, process.
All right.
All right, I love that. Oh, his knees too, there's more. Okay, yep, so reference, Score Bunny. You're in Illustrator, cool. I got thrown off because my Photoshop is the dark theme. I was like, how is he doing this in Photoshop? And I'm like, oh no, it's totally Illustrator, just dark theme. Alexandra, yes, we know about lighting. It's important to know about lighting. I do a lot of photography here and there too. If you look at my old site, you can see some of it. But yeah, it's important to know about lighting and what's going on so that you can look authentic. Again, designs really, we're translating things from the real world and putting our interpretation on it. And so having things like understanding lighting is very important.
What I really like here is that he's taking the objects, copy-pasting them, but then changing them up a little bit.
Yep.
So it doesn't all look very symmetric, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it's not 100%.
Can we skip forward just a bit? I want to see if he gets into the animation process. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he's in After Effects here? Yep. Nice, and you're just doing those as separate objects from Illustrator and then adding in probably transforms and motion. Yep, yeah, you're pivoting on that. This is great.
Yeah,
this is so fun.
This is awesome.
I don't get to work in After Effects very often, but this is fantastic.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
That's great.
All the wiggles.
Hey, Pokemon. Let's look at another project of his real quick.
Cool. All right. Awesome project,
Love
Josh.
it.
Cool.
Let's look at the Kokobo.
This
the
one?
left. One more. Sorry, that way. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's called a Kokobo. It may be a Chocobo. This is from Final Fantasy 9, I want to say. This was like, I didn't even play the game. You can like get these and make it so that they, you can like train them and stuff. And this is all I did in this game. There's like a story that's like 90 hours and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna play with this bird. That's fun. I loved the tuft of his hair. My only feedback on the little like woobly thing would be to split those into two shapes. So have the one shape coming up and then the one shape hanging forward and make it so that it has this kind of motion.
And maybe also add a different shade of yellow, right? Kind of like here.
Yeah.
So kind of one is a little bit more in the background.
Yep. Yeah. And yes, Vudival, 10 minutes left. If you have any questions about like literally anything, I am here. Shoot them. I will tell you all the secrets. I will tell you how to do literally everything.
Yeah. Awesome.
That I know how to do. There's a lot of things that I don't know how to do. Let's take a look at the one on the far right, just because I want to see. This is rad.
This is really nice.
Yep. So with this, let's keep scrolling.
Oh, sketches. Love sketches.
I am not a sketcher. I wish I was a sketcher. If you asked me to draw something, I am pretty much completely useless. If you asked me to design something, I got it.
See, guys, some of you guys have been asking if it's necessary to be able to sketch well.
Nope.
So, no.
Nope.
It's just for you to kind of capture your own ideas for later on, right?
Yep, yeah. And if you really want to learn to design without doing the sketching, without being an illustrator, I am not an illustrator. 0% illustrator. I will work in Illustrator. I am brand identity designer. I just like general creative, and I apply that through Illustrator, through design. Go watch my last stream on Adobe Live. It's on YouTube. Just search my name in Adobe Live. We spent the first bit covering semiotics. Semiotics is super important. It's basically how we think and how we communicate visually. And if you're not an illustrator, you can be a visual communicator still and use basic shapes and use semiotics to still communicate. Yep. And yes, Rachel, I am doing my own stream on Sunday night. You can go to twitch.tv/hawk.co, or you can just go to www.hawk.live.
Don't forget to get some popcorn.
Yeah, get some popcorn. We'll be hanging out. I'll be doing more critique. You can send me work right now. You can DM me on Instagram, DM me on Twitter, send it to me through my website. Send me your work. We'll be critiquing it live Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's go back up and watch this video of it moving.
All right.
Oh, sorry. There's not a video. I had feedback on it. That's what we want to do. So let me come here. And this is something to where you can take inspiration, and it's one of those things that sometimes I'm hesitant to show that if I have students, it's hard to show inspiration, but not something to copy. But I think that this style specifically calls for something that could be interesting. So let's go back up to the top. And this could be something to incorporate, but again, don't copy, put your own spin on it. Take the inspiration from this idea. So let's go ahead and switch to my screen real quick. This is a designer. His name is Tom Whalen. One of my favorite people. I've been collecting his work forever. I probably have 30 of his posters just in a flat file in my garage. But what he always does is he'll split his shading down the middle of the face and have one side be different color, one side be the different color, and work with these limited palettes. I think on that poster that you have, I think something like this could be interesting to play a little bit with shading. And because it's so symmetrical, doing something down the middle of the face could be very interesting.
Yeah, I could totally see it. Now that I look at it, you're really right.
Yeah, and even creating, let's jump real quick. What do we have, 3 minutes? Yeah. Doing something like this. Doing something to where on that you have your shapes, and you're just coming in here with a different color and doing the dissolve effect that we looked at today. And you can go back if you're not watching or you need a little effect recap. But doing stuff like this and just doing a little bit of, on that middle edge, doing a little bit of blur, even masking out some of those shapes so that it has some dimension to it, I think could be really interesting. I love the strongness of those colors. But again, I want to throw texture on literally everything. And yes, Philippa, I literally thought about it. How long do we actually have?
A couple minutes left. Yeah. Like
Okay,
2,
what's
3
the
minutes.
link?
It's Josh Velasquez.
Oh, we have 1 minute.
Yeah.
We have.
Let's just go into mine.
All right, let's go to hers. Yeah. So I can't ruin your work. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll do it on stream on Sunday. If you come hang out Sunday, we will get super weird with this and throw texture on it. And again, I don't want to ruin your work, so if you don't want me to,
or you can experiment with it and try putting texture on and ask Andrew for some feedback. So
oh, for sure, yeah. Put some feedback, or if you want to, like, let's Skype and you can hop on and share a screen and you can be on stream.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. It was so much fun with you, Andrew.
It was.
Thank you.
Guys.
And yeah, I'm glad we were able to experiment so much. And yeah, make sure to check out Andrew's past streams as well if you're interested. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.